presence in Yugoslavia was critical. It was almost a week before the state visit came to an end.
It was only on the plane back that Gorbachev said, "I read this article. It's a terrible thing." In a Central Committee newspaper, an article was published that opposed Gorbachev's line. It looked like an attempt to rally against him.
Gorbachev returned home to be met by a confident Ligachev, confident that he and his kind of communism were now on top. That week, Pravda had twice listed Ligachev as #1 in the Politburo.
Those in the party who opposed perestroika had spoken out, and Gorbachev needed to determine exactly where each member of the Politburo stood.
Ligachev had powerful support, but Gorbachev was a subtle tactician. He carefully left the Nina Andreeva affair off the agenda of the next Politburo meeting.
We worked our way through the agenda. All sorts of other questions were raised. And then rather casually, Gorbachev asked us, "Have you read Sovietskaya Rossiya, the article by Nina Andreeva?"
For me, the question was, why was it published? To others, the question was Ligachev behind it?
I have no doubt that Ligachev agreed with the article. We all knew that.
I never had anything to do with the publication of Nina Andreeva's article. I never met Nina Andreeva. I never phoned her, never wrote to her.
There were rumors about an order to reprint the article. Ligachev denied giving such instructions. He said it was an invention.
They were hinting. There were no direct accusations, but there were hints, innuendos. Yakovlev and others really wanted to implicate me.
Ligachev said, "I know all about the article. But what does it have to do with me? We gave up examining articles years ago." But Gorbachev said, "No, that's not good enough. We must get to the bottom of this."
The debate lasted 2 days. It amounted to nothing less than a vote of confidence in Gorbachev and his policies. He asked each member of the Politburo to declare himself. And with that, Ligachev's conspiracy collapsed. But at Sovietskaya Rossiya, the newspaper that had started the trouble, editor Valentin Chikin knew nothing of this.
There was a ring on the Kremlin line, which was used only by the highest officials. Chikin lifted the receiver, and I heard him say, "Hello, Gorbachev?" Then there was a long pause. I looked at Chikin. His face was changing. I could see by his reaction that the conversation was not pleasant. He told us later that Gorbachev had said, "Listen, are you in favor of perestroika or not? The Politburo is forming the opinion that your paper somehow misunderstands it." Nina Andreeva's letter was essentially anti-perestroika. It was a long conversation, and we left the room. We were outside the door and didn't hear how it ended. But when we went back into the office, the lamp was switched off, and Chikin was simply shaking, pale and confused.
That same day, at Central Committee headquarters, Gorbachev let Ligachev and his staff know exactly what he thought of the affair.
Gorbachev said that the article was very harmful, that it was directed against the General Secretary, and had the aim to remove him. He said that the Central Committee was flooded with letters asking, "What's happening? Is Gorbachev going to be sacked?" He spoke in the very same room where only 2 weeks earlier Ligachev had praised the article that had sparked off all these events. Gorbachev was addressing all the top Central Committee officials. One comrade said that if he were in Ligachev's place, his heart would have exploded.
In fact, Ligachev got off lightly. He remained second secretary, but he was stripped of his responsibility for the press. Glasnost finally took off. On the next episode of the Second Russian Revolution, embraced by the Communist Party, handpicked to lead the Moscow people, a disenchanted Boris Yeltsin would lock horns with the Soviet bureaucracy and turn against the very people who cleared his path for success.
The Second Russian Revolution is now available as a 6-part